Let's talk about website demographics. So who are their visitors? Now we can learn a lot about a competitor by figuring out who are their visitors. What type of people are they? And ultimately, who are their customers? What type of person makes their ideal customer? That's what we really want to figure out, who their ideal customer is. Because every business is different. And if we can figure out who their ideal customer is, then we can use cost-effective advertising to just go target and reach those people. You probably know by now, if you have any experience at all in internet marketing, that Facebook ads are getting very, very popular and they're very, very powerful. And one of the reasons for that is because you can really target someone by demographics, how old they are, what location they're from, what their education is, what their income level is sometimes, what their other interests are. So all of that data and information that we're figuring out about competitors is very, very valuable so we can target the exact most likely to buy person in that business. We want to know ideally what gender they are. Are they mostly male? Are they mostly female that come to that competitor's site and buy that competitor's products? Or is it split 50-50, which is fine? We ideally want to know what age range they are in. Now, we can't always find this data. Some of the more premium tools that you pay for, like SimilarWeb and Compete.com, will help break down ages at times. But typically, it's hard to figure out until we really dive deep into the business. But we can ultimately figure that out for a lot of different companies. One of the easy things that we can find about any of these competitors is what country their visitors and their buyers come from. If we break down when we look at the analytics for visitors, and then we look at it again for buyers, and a lot of times you'll see some differences there, but we can figure out really what country that they're from. And that's very, very valuable and very important data. So we need to take a look at some demographics so you can get kind of familiar with doing some research on a competitor and figuring out who their ideal customer or ideal site visitors are. Okay, so let's jump over to Alexa and we're just going to use their free tool. So let's go back and look at the dog training secret site that we looked at before. And it's got very similar statistics that SimilarWeb had with their visitors and bounce rates and time on site and pages they view. But this is just what I want you to see here real quick. Under audience demographics, you can see gender. And we can see here for the male and female breakdown that this site's traffic is predominantly female. That kind of makes sense because it sure seems that way, at least, that a lot more women buy dogs than men. So a lot more women would be looking on how to train my dog online than men if they make up more of the buyers of dogs. So it's no surprise here why this website has a lot more female visitors than males. Now, it still has a pretty good amount of males, but it's predominantly female. Now, why this matters, if we're going to run some ads and if we were in this same business looking at dog training types of things, then we would want to start by completely excluding males from our ads, if possible. Like we were to run Facebook ad campaigns, we don't want to run our ads to males at all because we know only a small percentage of males actually end up going to the site and probably ultimately buying. So what we'd want to do is, knowing that information, let's only target females with our advertising, and we're almost guaranteed to get a higher ROI from every dollar that we spend trying to drive traffic, because we know, looking at this competitor, that the majority of people in the market are female. The other thing we want to look at real quick here are some audience demographics of where the site's visitors are located. We can see here 61.6% are coming from the United States, 11% from Canada, and 4% from the United Kingdom. Now, the site certainly has a lot of visitors from all different other countries too, but the majority of visitors seem to come from those places. So this can kind of tell us a lot, that site's marketing is all really geared around targeting most people in North America, as well as the English speakers in the United Kingdom. But it doesn't mean that this business couldn't also be replicated or emulated in other countries and in other languages. Typically, if you find a product that's selling well or a certain interest that has correlations to other countries and other cultures, it's kind of assumed and expected that you can get some good results in other countries. For example, how many other countries have dogs, as pets? Well, almost all of them. In fact, I think in Asia and Brazil, They have more pet owners per person in their country than we do in the United States. So those are some other great markets that somebody could go and build like dog training types of products for in other languages specifically for those markets, like for Japan and Japanese, for China and Chinese, for Brazil and Portuguese. Those are some just quick examples. But we can start by honing in on a business's demographics by looking at where their visitors come from. Now, we can just kind of basically see that the bulk of his come from North America, and he's probably targeting most of those locations with his ads and not targeting, the other countries. One, because there's typically a language barrier and they don't convert as high. And two, with everything being English on his site, in his business, and in his videos, and in his communication, and in his sales materials, that's why just targeting just the English-speaking countries produces more, and that's probably why he's spending a lot of money and driving all the traffic from those countries. But this is just a great free way that we can come in and we can get some more analytics for free. This is Alexa's free version. So I'm trying to show you as much as I can on free tools so you don't have to be expected to buy tools. If you buy the tools, you can go even deeper, and sometimes you'll really want to do that. If you're serious about doing this and you find a really good opportunity, well, you'll want to go as deep as you can. It's worth spending a few $100 to upgrade some of these tools, at least for the trial or at least for 1 month, and then you can cancel if you wish after the 1 month. But just to really spend a lot of time while you have the active account of the premium tools, getting all the great spy and competitive intelligence data that you can about a business. But you can just come to Alexa.com, put in a website name, and get those basic demographics of kind of the gender traffic. This has some education stuff. No telling how accurate this stuff is, but it usually gives you a good idea, as well as coming in here and seeing the geography of what countries that those visitors are from. Okay, now I want you to do the exercise that's attached and pick a few competitors and start looking into their demographics, start figuring out their kind of customer or site visitor profile, the ideal makeup of the people that come to their business, come to their site as well as to their shopping carts. So you can really start to figure out who their ideal customer can be.